Intro 0 0. The 1960s gave us velvet voices and rhythms that could raise the dead, but behind the grooves and glitter were stories soaked in sorrow, artists who poured out their souls while the world barely noticed the cost. Barbara Lynn was tearing up the charts with her left-handed guitar licks, while James Carr battled demons that stole one of soul's greatest voices. These are 15 heartbreaking stories of 1960s R&B stars' history tried to forget. And once you hear them, you won't forget either. Number 15, You'll Lose a Good Thing, by Barbara Lynn. The left-handed trailblazer who walked away before women holding guitars became a movement, Barbara Lynn was already doing it. Left-handed, self-taught, and overflowing with pure Southern soul. In 1962, she lit up jukeboxes with You'll Lose a Good Thing. A bluesy, finger-picked anthem she wrote herself at just 20 years old. A young black woman from Beaumont, Texas, not just singing heartbreak, but playing it with authority on an instrument the industry refused to see her holding. The single soared to #1 on the R&B charts under Jamie Records, and suddenly, and you lose a good thing. Number 14, The Dark End of the Street, by James Carr. The voice too painful for fame, James Carr had a voice carved from gospel granite, aching, raw, and heartbreakingly real. When Gold Wax Records released The Dark End of the Street in 1967, the world heard a masterpiece, a cheating song turned confession. Dripping with guilt and southern humidity. But while fans heard brilliance, James was already slipping into the shadows. He suffered from what we now know was bipolar disorder. But back then, no diagnosis, no understanding, and no safety net. He would cancel shows without warning, freeze on stage, unable to sing, or wander off during tours, lost in his own mind. Even his producer admitted, sometimes James just disappeared. He was barely 30 when performing became almost impossible. And yet, in his rare lucid moments, it's a sin, and we know it's wrong. Listen to that chorus, and you can feel the humidity clinging to the track. The weight of secrets, the shame of loving someone you shouldn't, ignored by the mainstream, misunderstood by the industry, beloved only by collectors and crate diggers. James Carr died in 2001, a legend, but only to those who knew where to listen. Once you hear him, you do not forget. Number 13, Dedicated to the One I Love, by Clarence Burke Jr. 5 Stairsteps, the lost lead before the family hit. Before the 5 Stairsteps became the first family of soul and gave the world their 1970s classic OOH Child, the group was led in the mid-60s by one voice, Clarence Burke Jr. Note, your transcript says Laurel Simon. But the correct name is Clarence Burke Jr., the founding lead. Under the guidance of Curtis Mayfield, the young Chicago family group recorded their tender rendition of Dedicated to the One I Love. Clarence's voice carried the group, smooth, boyish, and beautifully steady. A quiet prelude to the fame that would eventually come. But here's the tragedy. While Clarence laid the foundation, he never got to stand in the spotlight for long. Internal tensions grew, family disagreements flared. Labels pushed for a different direction. And by the late 60s, Clarence's central role began to fade. His siblings eventually signed with George Harrison's Dark Horse Records and found success into the 70s. But Clarence struggled to find footing as a solo act. His later single, Mellow Mellow Right On, became a cult classic. But not nearly enough to revive the career of the man who helped shape Chicago soul. Clarence Burke Jr. remains a blueprint. A forgotten architect of the family sound we came to love. He gave us the foundation, but history forgot the builder. Number 12, Yes, I'm Ready, by Barbara Mason. The teen queen who grew up too fast. When Barbara Mason recorded Yes, I'm Ready in 1965, she was only 17 years old. But her voice carried the ache of someone who had already lived a lifetime of love and loss. Released on Philadelphia's Arctic Records, the song became an instant slow dance staple across Black America. Her delivery was soft, hopeful, and heartbreakingly sincere. A young girl whispering grown woman truths into the microphone. But while the single shot her into stardom, Barbara was thrust into an adult industry that viewed her as a commodity, not a creator. Behind the scenes, she fought constantly for creative control, trying to be taken seriously as both a singer and a songwriter. Her label, hungry for quick hits, pushed her into a string of rushed follow-ups that never captured the intimacy of her breakthrough. By the early 70s, disco was rising, and Barbara Mason's tender soul sound was suddenly out of step. She faded quietly from the charts. Not from lack of talent, but from an industry that didn't know how to grow with her. Her voice promised forever love, but the business showed her how short forever can be. Number 11, Trying to Make a Fool of Me, by the Delfonics.
Introduce you to three very together brothers, Wilbur Hart, William Hart.
The harmony that fell apart before their iconic hit, La La Means I Love You, made them legends. The Delfonics were already crafting a dreamy orchestral soul sound that would define Philadelphia's musical identity. One of the earliest signs of their brilliance was Trying to Make a Fool of Me, a tender but suspicious love song built on airy falsettos and silky arrangements. At the center of it all was William Hart, a songwriter with a pen dipped in poetry and heartbreak. But while the music sounded effortless, the reality inside the group was anything but. As the hits rolled in, label disputes mounted, money got messy, internal power struggles intensified. And the pressure of success pushed the group to the edge. William's delicate songwriting masked a deep personal turmoil. His brother, Wilbur Hart, eventually left the group, fracturing the chemistry that made their harmonies so rich. By the mid-70s, the Delfonics' chart presence faded. But the sound they created never did. Their lush arrangements would later be sampled by Missy Elliott, Ghostface Killah, The Fugees, Dr. Dre. Yet the men behind those harmonies, ghosts of a gentler, more romantic era, a reminder that sometimes the sweetest music comes from the most fragile hearts. Number 10, Tell It Like It Is, by Aaron Neville. The angel voice with a heavy cross. In 1966, Aaron Neville released Tell It Like It Is, and for 3 perfect minutes, time stood still. His delicate vibrato, his tear-soaked falsetto, the way he delivered truth like a prayer. It was unlike anything soul music had heard before. The song became a national sensation, rising to number 1 on the R&B charts and cementing Aaron as a singular voice in American music. But the man behind that angelic tone was living a life far from heavenly. The single was released on the Tiny Parlo label, which had neither the infrastructure nor the money to support a breakout star. Aaron saw little of the financial reward. Meanwhile, in New Orleans, he was fighting battles far heavier than the industry knew, crushing poverty, street violence, arrests, and a constant struggle to stay afloat. His soft voice belied a life built on survival. For nearly 2 decades, Aaron drifted away from the mainstream, lost beneath the waves of changing tastes and label politics. It wasn't until the Neville brothers rose to fame in the late 80s that he stepped back into the spotlight. But by then, Tell It Like It Is had become a bittersweet memory, a reminder of what could have been had the industry protected the man with the golden voice. Aaron never stopped singing, but the world took far too long to listen. Number 9, I Do Love You, by Billy Stewart. The stuttering genius silenced too soon. Billy Stewart wasn't just a singer, he was a phenomenon. Where most vocalists delivered smooth runs, Billy turned soul into something explosive and alive, scatting, stuttering, shouting, and bending melodies like no one before him. His 1965 hit, I Do Love You, is a perfect example. A warm, shimmering confession that somehow danced between vulnerability and swagger. And when he covered Gershwin's Summertime, he didn't just reinterpret it, he set it on fire.
Yes, I do.
Transforming it into gospel-fueled, jazz-drenched soul chaos that still shocks listeners today. But Billy's brilliance came with a cruel twist. In 1970, at just 32 years old, he and 3 of his bandmates were killed when his customized Ford Thunderbird crashed into a river in North Carolina on the way to a performance. He had been on the verge of a major reinvention, signing with Chess Records, preparing to expand into jazz and crossover pop, ready to show the world the depth of what he could do. Instead, his catalog became a time capsule, a snapshot of a genius who barely had the chance to show us what he was capable of. Billy Stewart wasn't just unique, he was irreplaceable, a joyful noise silenced long before the world was ready to lose him. Number 8. Take Me Just As I Am by Solomon Burke. The king without a throne. Before soul music even had a name, Solomon Burke was already defining it. A preacher, a mortician.
But listen to me.
A musical visionary with a voice that could shake rafters and melt stone. His 1964 recording, Take Me Just As I Am, was a raw, pleading cry.
Can't stop loving you.
Half gospel, half blues, all heart. This was Solomon at his most vulnerable, asking for acceptance from a world that never fully understood him. Signed to Atlantic Records, he delivered over 30 chart hits during the 1960s. Yet somehow never received the mass recognition given to peers like Sam Cooke or Otis Redding. Why? Because Solomon
Somehow
didn't fit the industry mold. He was too gospel for pop radio, too pop for gospel purists.
you allow for stand still.
Too big in presence, both literally and artistically, for labels to package neatly, while others became legends. Solomon spent years grinding on the road, touring relentlessly, preaching, performing, often underpaid, often overlooked.
I just live my life.
And the cruelest twist, when he died in 2010, it was on the way to yet another show. Still working, still searching for the spotlight he deserved decades earlier.
Somehow, when I think about it, still
Solomon Burke was the king of rock and soul, just not the one the industry crowned. A giant whose shadow shaped the genre, even if history didn't give him his throne. Number 7. Love Come Down, Evelyn Champagne. King, 1982. When Evelyn Champagne, King dropped Love Come Down, she stepped confidently into the new electronic era of R&B.
But now I know.
Produced by Kashif, one of the architects of 80s modern soul, this track introduced a clean, sparkling synth bounce that would later influence early freestyle music, the rise of New Jack Swing, the brighter side of early 90s R&B. But even with the shimmer,
But I gave you nothing but heartache and
Evelyn's voice is the anchor. She doesn't overpower the track. She glides over it, smooth as satin, joyful as sunlight. The lyrics, pure celebration. The sound, instant happiness. And here's the part people forget. This song lived on roller rinks, at summer block parties, and in the hearts of skating couples holding hands. It wasn't just a hit. It was a feeling, a warm breeze of a song.
make up for the long, lonely nights. I need you.
A July night in audio form, a groove that still makes people smile the moment it starts. Its DNA can be heard today in artists like Mary, Beyonce,
I know I've wasted so much for
and anyone who makes R&B that feels like a smile you can dance to.
rain. Baby, believe it won't happen again.
Number 6, Shout Bamalama by Otis Redding.
Can my baby be? Lord,
The star who gave his all too soon. Before the world knew, sitting on the dock of the bay. Before the suits, the crossover dreams, and the myth-making.
and the guitar said I want you to come back, come.
Otis Redding was pure, unfiltered Southern fire. And nowhere is that fire hotter than in his 1961 cut, Shout Bamalama. recorded for the tiny Confederate Records label. This wasn't polished Otis. This wasn't refined Otis. This was garage band gospel soul.
Baby, will I get enough?
Sweaty, chaotic, and exploding with raw energy. You can hear him hollering like a man possessed.
Treating me cold.
A voice destined to outrun the room it was recorded in. Otis toured relentlessly, pushing himself harder than anyone should. He lived on adrenaline. Recording non-stop, performing night after night, chasing a future he could almost touch. By 1967,
Lord, and I can't even sleep.
he was poised to take soul music to new heights. A young black superstar, ready to break through every barrier. And then, tragedy.
Said I want you to love me, love me, love me.
On December 10th, 1967, Otis Redding's plane crashed en route to a show in Wisconsin. He was only 26 years old. He left behind unfinished songs, some of which became his biggest posthumous hits. But Shout Bamalama remains the truest snapshot of his hunger, his passion, his unstoppable force. Otis gave everything he had. The world only got half of what he could have been. Number 5, Selfish One, by Jackie Ross. The voice Motown let slip away. In 1964, Jackie Ross burst onto the scene with Selfish One, a silky, mid-tempo groove carried by her smoky soprano. It climbed the charts quickly. And for a moment, Jackie looked like the next great soul star. And she had every reason to believe it. Motown had courted her early on, and she turned them down, hoping for more creative control elsewhere. When Selfish One hit big under Chess Records' subsidiary Fontana, it looked like she'd made the right choice. But the music business, it doesn't always reward talent. It often punishes independence. After her hit single, Jackie was swallowed by label politics, poor promotion, and the quiet, constant undermining Black female artists faced in the 1960s. Follow-up releases never got proper support. Creative decisions were taken out of her hands, and the next big star narrative faded just as quickly as it arrived. By the late 60s, Jackie Ross had virtually disappeared from the mainstream, not because she lacked the voice, but because the industry didn't know how to nurture a young woman with vision. One hit, one golden moment, and then silence. A career undone not by failure, but by a system that didn't treat her like she mattered. Number 4, Mockingbird, by Inez and Charlie Fox. The family act that fell apart. In 1963, siblings Inez and Charlie Fox shook the airwaves with Mockingbird, a fiery call and response anthem that turned a nursery rhyme into full-throttle soul. Their chemistry was undeniable. Sharp harmonies, playful back and forth, and a raw energy that made the song impossible to ignore. Atlantic Records pushed it hard, and the single took off, becoming a cultural staple later covered by Aretha Franklin, James Taylor, Carly Simon, and more. But while the song soared, the duo crumbled. Behind the scenes, the Fox siblings were dealing with management disputes, shady contracts, and Charlie's growing desire to break out as a solo act.
Inez Fox and Charlie Fox, no stranger to love. It's a hit. Inez.
Those tensions fractured the partnership long before they could reach their full potential. Inez, the powerhouse voice driving their biggest hit, tried to launch a solo career of her own, but the industry had already moved on to the next trend, the next face, the next voice to market. Her talent stayed, but her spotlight didn't. Mockingbird lives on everywhere, in soundtracks, in samples, in live covers. But the siblings who created it, barely a footnote in the history they helped shape. Two stars with a spark too bright for an industry built to burn people out.
With notes that sound so sweet.
Number 3, I Had a Talk with My Man by Mitty Collier.
Singers, Miss Mitty Collier.
The gospel star silenced too early. Mitty Collier had a gift that could stop a room cold. A whisper from her carried more emotion than most singers could pack into an entire performance. In 1964, she flipped the gospel hymn, I Had a Talk with God Last Night, into a soul-drenched confessional titled, I Had a Talk with My Man. It wasn't just a song. It was testimony, earthy, emotional, transcendent. Her delivery made every line feel lived in, as if she were singing directly from the pages of her private heartbreak. But behind that powerhouse voice was a heartbreaking truth. Mitty's career was running on borrowed time. Diagnosed with severe vocal cord polyps in the late 1960s, she faced a devastating choice: risk surgery that could destroy her voice,
And he won't never leave.
or keep singing until the damage became permanent. She chose the surgery, and although it saved her, she never regained the fire that first captivated the world.
Night who lies my blue.
Her recording career faded quietly, not because her voice failed her, but because her life pulled her somewhere more meaningful. Mitty Collier returned to her roots, becoming a pastor and founding a ministry that still serves her community today. She may have left the charts, but she didn't lose her purpose. Some voices are too holy for the spotlight to hold. Number 2, A Rainy Night in Georgia by Brooke Benton. The comeback that came too late. By the late 1960s, Brooke Benton was no stranger to success. He'd already carved out a legacy with smooth pop soul classics like It's Just a Matter of Time and Kiddio. But fame is fickle. By 1969, Benton's star had dimmed, labels shifted,
Just flashing taxi cabs and buses.
trends moved on. Younger artists filled the airwaves, and then came his masterpiece, A Rainy Night in Georgia.
Such a rain.
Released on Cotillion Records in 1970, the song was a haunting, bone-deep confession of loneliness.
It still comes out the same.
Benton's velvety baritone sounded heavier now, older, wearier, full of truths learned the hard way. It was, for many, his greatest vocal performance ever recorded, and the world finally noticed. The single soared to number 1 on the R&B charts and top 5 on the Hot 100.
It seems like it's raining all over the world.
A stunning comeback for a voice too good to stay silent. But here's the tragedy. Even with the hit, Brooke Benton never fully reclaimed the spotlight.
seems to play a sad refrain to the night.
The industry had changed, and record labels weren't interested in investing in so-called veteran acts. So just as the world remembered him, they forgot again.
Well, I feel like it's raining all over the world.
Benton continued to record, continued to tour, but the era of big promotional pushes was gone. When he passed in 1988,
It's life, and you just
his name was rarely mentioned in greatest lists, a heartbreaking oversight for a man whose voice shaped the genre. Yet A Rainy Night in Georgia remains eternal.
late at night.
A song that can stop you mid-breath. A voice that still wraps listeners in melancholy warmth. A comeback that came just a little too late. Number 1, Piece of My Heart by Irma Franklin. The sister who gave Janis her voice. Most people hear Piece of My Heart and think of Janis Joplin, the roaring, ragged 1968 version that rock radio made immortal. But before the scream came, the soul. Before Janis, there was Irma Franklin. Aretha's older sister, a powerhouse vocalist in her own right, and the original voice behind one of the greatest heartbreak anthems ever written. In 1967, Irma recorded Piece of My Heart for Shout Records, a raw, aching, gospel-soaked performance that earned her a Grammy nomination. Her delivery wasn't wild or unrestrained. It was controlled heartbreak, a woman begging and breaking at the same time. But the industry didn't know what to do with her. Two Franklin sisters, both singing soul. The labels didn't want the second one. Radio didn't know how to market her. And Irma, graceful and private by nature, didn't push back against the machine. So while her little sister soared to the title of Queen of Soul, Irma quietly stepped away. She returned to work in education and community outreach, using her gifts off stage, becoming beloved locally, even if forgotten nationally. And then Janis Joplin re-recorded Piece of My Heart in 1968. It exploded, became a counterculture anthem, defined an era. But most people never knew. Irma's voice came first, unfiltered, under-recognized, unforgettable. When she passed in 2002,